We are live, I guess. Cool. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming outside with me today. I know I'm not outside. I get that. I'm going to have my laptop here. Would love to do a mid-season update. I'm terribly sorry that I have not posted any content whatsoever in a while. You know me, I'm not a vlogger. I like to produce things more in a project-based format. Of course, I had the two live updates the other day when I shot my buck, which was very exciting. I'm very excited to have tagged a buck for the first time with a bow in a very long time. God has blessed me greatly. And I'm going to try to follow along here on my computer, if as much as possible. So, if you have any questions for me whatsoever, I'll let you jump on here and maybe I'll adjust the camera a little bit. Let's bring this down a little bit lower. Let's get in the front. How does that look? I still look like I'm like 40 feet away from the camera, but it's my phone, so we'll have to live with it. So please, if you have any questions whatsoever, please do post them. I'd like to update a few things as regarding to what's coming down the pipe once archery season's kind of over. Archery season ends here this Saturday, actually, November the 11th, here in Pennsylvania. The first season will be over, and then we'll have rifle season starting after Thanksgiving. That's 2 weeks long. I'll probably hunt through that as well, but with a rifle, most likely. Maybe with a bow if I get into a kind of a tighter, more suburban area, and to follow the safety regulations, I can't use a rifle. But then after that happens, the late season, the day after Christmas, December 26th to about middle of January, first, second week of January, is the second archery season in Pennsylvania. A lot more challenging than the first, by far, to get on deer, following deer from different bed and feed patterns they've been shot at for a couple months in archery season, and of course in the late season, or in the rifle season as well. So by far one of my favorite times to be out. I love being out in the snow and God's beautiful creation during that time. But hopefully, if I don't tag out here the rest of this week, I've one, maybe two more hunts this week. Friday, definitely after work, I'm going out, and then Saturday morning. So after that's all done, rifle season there, maybe upload a video or two. It's hard, I'm trying to, not only am I know that when I was getting into archery, I was also getting into hunting in general, and I know that I'm out in the average jack archery videos is kind of what I'm doing, getting people in archery. But I know that when I was getting into archery, I was getting into a lot of other aspects of hunting, and so you'll see me do potentially a review. I shoot a 25-06 Remington 700. I shoot a Mossberg 500 for turkeys. I'm going to try shooting slugs out of it this year, put a scope on it this year, maybe do a review video on that. So I know that I try to stick with archery. I apologize to all of you that come to archery and you find these more product reviews. I did the Magnus broadheads recently, which of course are archery, but I did the Muck Woody Max, and I did the Muck Woody Max predominantly because when I was looking into boots and getting a muck boot, and those Woody Max were on sale in my area locally, I couldn't find anything online about them. So I know that's where a lot of people go nowadays to get reviews on things, and if you can't find it online, it's kind of tough. So I figured it's not there. I've now used the boots, might as well make a review. So I know that I'm making some content that's kind of away from archery, but I don't want you to think that I'm getting away from archery. I just know that with those people that are getting into archery and archery hunting are also getting into the outdoor sports and getting into hunting in general. And so they might also be encountering different rifles, different shotguns, different clothing, and so on and so forth. So don't be surprised you see that stuff pop up. As always, I don't have any official sponsors. I shoot a lot of different equipment. I've had a lot of people send me some stuff to get some reviews on, but there's no contracts, there's no money changing hands. And actually that's what I would like to get to next. All right, cool. People are on. Ben, thank you. Hunter Clark, you can get a shout out. Thank you. All right. Jeff's got a great question. All right, we'll get to your questions. Keith, please do post them. because I'm a school teacher and I'm an English teacher, if you put a question mark, or I guess if a question mark at the end of the sentence that you're writing, it pops out a lot easier to me. I'll try to scroll all the way back up and catch all the questions, but if you do put a question mark or 20 question marks at the end, thank you, Ben. I will see it a lot easier and I'll get to it a lot faster. I want to get to, before I get to questions, I brought up a live video again. I've been terrible, but a live video about a couple of bows. I just want to update you on them. Mandarin Duck from China wanted to send me a couple of bows and get my thoughts on them so I could put some reviews online. If you've gone onto YouTube and search Mandarin Duck, you'll find Survival Lily over in Latvia. I think she's in Latvia. Forgive me. She did, they sent her some. They also sent New Sensei down in Australia. So definitely, you know, if you want to go buy one, they're clearly a reputable enough company that, you know, these other very well-known archers on YouTube are using them. This is the Phantom. It's a takedown recurve. It is a 45-pound recurve, very short tip to tip. And I will say I've been thoroughly enjoying shooting this. Right now I'm just shooting it off the shelf. I've been shooting some gold tip Expedition Hunters out of it, a lot of weight up front. I think this would be a great bow fishing bow. For those of you that are trying to get into bow fishing and stuff like that, you know, of course, having the metal riser, the takedown ability, so that way you can clean it out if you get water in there, but also the fact that it's $80 US shipped. Sure, you're going to wait about a month to get it, but it's, I mean, the powder coat finish on it's done really well. The tolerances and the limb pockets and the limbs seem really nice. Reinforced limb tips to take a fast flight string, the one I have on its Dacron right now. The grip is identical to a Hoyt grip, so if you're used to shooting a low wrist or a mid to low wrist recurve or compound, I mean, it just fits the bill perfectly for me. It just cups right into my hand. So I've been really impressed with it. It comes with all the bushings and the threaded adapters for rests and for stabilizers and sights. So if you wanted to go whole hog and deck it out and make it whatever you wanted to, you can. And like I said, for $80 US shipped, you cannot beat it. You're going to wait a little bit of a while, but they come in poundages, I think down to 20 up to 50. So definitely for the youth, definitely for the lady, definitely for the grown man like myself, and will definitely take down any game, at least here in North America. So I'm going to hopefully do a full more project review on it and have that posted to you guys here somewhere after archery season when the dust kind of settles. All the spare time I have has been devoted to hunting and trying to get outside when I'm not at home with the kids. So that's the Phantom. Showed that to you really quickly. And then also, they also sent me a compound bow. And this is the Glory, and it is huge. It is a 40-inch axle-to-axle bow. It's quite heavy for what it is, but being that competition-style bow, that's not uncommon. I have not weighed it or anything like that. I've only put a couple of arrows through it. I put a Whisker Biscuit rest on here, which I actually ended up taking off because I needed it on a different bow. Cheap Apex sight, and I mean, it holds okay. It's very top-heavy. It is a dual cam system, so 2 yokes on either end, on either cam. They are floating yokes, which is a little bit different to tune than a static or a fixed yoke. So that's been interesting as I've been shooting it. Strings, don't know the materials, what they're made out of, but the serving has held up so far. I haven't had any problems with it. We have a 2 peep in here, so I haven't seen any peep rotation or anything like that because of the 2 peep, but nothing has really moved as of yet. Ton of vibration on the shot. I mean, I threw this little tiny little diamond archery stabilizer on here from my wife's Diamond Infinite Edge just for fun, and it's just got a ton of hand shock, ton of vibration, which is kind of expected a little bit in target bows. But if you think about it, this is like a $250 compound bow, and that's not to be unreasonable to have that. Kind of ones jump out of your hand a little bit. This is 40 to 60 pound bow, so if you're probably shooting, I have it maxed out right now, it's shooting at 62. So if you were shooting at 40, it might be a lot less jumpy. But still, for what it's been doing, I'm actually pretty pleased with it. I haven't timed it in a while. I timed when I first got it, and I've been shooting it ever since. So I'll hopefully, again, just like the Phantom, I'll do another separate review, get that out for Mandarin Duck, and just kind of give you, I mean, right now this is my backup hunting bow. I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at right now. So anyhow, it's very nice. Fit and finish is really good. They've done a really nice job with it. IBO is at 300 feet a second, so definitely that competition style bow. Really slow moving, but I don't think I'd ever shoot it for competitive purposes, but it's definitely nice to have. So thank you to Mandarin Duck for sending these to me. Hopefully I can get those videos out to you guys soon. On top of that, I'd like to add another thing. If you haven't been over to my Facebook page, if you'd like to follow me on Facebook, and it doesn't offend me if you don't, but if you want to follow me on Facebook, I posted a thing on Facebook earlier today. I would like to do a giveaway of some sort, and I know that sounds incredibly cheesy and incredibly terrible, but there's a reason behind it. So I have a whole bunch of Average Jack Archery decals and logos, vinyl decals and logos. You can put in your car, you can put on a bow case, you can put on anything. And the reason why I have a whole bunch of them and a whole bunch of them left over is because of the 3D archery shoot that I went to back in early September with Higher Pursuit Outdoors. And so I got a whole bunch of these things laying around. And so I figured, I'm not selling them or anything, and so I figured I'd like to give one away, but actually have it put on something. So my wife does all this die cutting stuff, arts and crafts sorts of things, if you will. It's custom designed things, and so she makes these vinyl cutouts and she puts them on wine glasses and thermoses and all sorts of stuff. So she's made a whole bunch of my logos, and I would like to slap it onto I'm not going to put it on a $40 Yeti, but I'd like to slap it onto some sort of stainless steel thermos, and I'd love to ship it to you. So if you want to pop over to my Facebook and give me a like, you'll be able to catch up when the update comes. It won't come this week. It'll probably come Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday of next week of what exactly you need to do if you want to try to win that thermos. Hopefully my wife will put it together. We can snap a photo and we can put it up there for you guys to look at. Of course, you won't have to buy anything. You won't have to do anything strange like that. But if you want to be more further updated, I probably won't do anything on YouTube to update you about it. But if you want to try to win that, you can pop over to Facebook and like me there. And you can follow it as I send out updates. So, looks like we have some questions to get to. We'll start with Ben. Different releases and why? That's an excellent question, Ben. Let's talk about releases here for a second. Let me snag two of them. I'll snag my competition release and my hunting release. Oh, where's the other one? It's somewhere. Oh, my workshop down here is an absolute mess. We're still remodeling this basement, as you can probably tell from the absolute dumpster fire of a bench behind me. You're going to see two different styles of releases. You're going to see some sort of 3 or 4 finger. This is a 4 finger with a caliper. This is a True Fire. It's definitely one of the more inexpensive thumb releases. You can see back tension or hinge releases, which have, you're just pulling it through the shot and eventually it breaks over and the shot releases. And then you have more of the triggered finger, index finger release. I have used both of these for hunting. Now, and I've used both of them for target shooting, for 3D shoots. It kind of depends on what I want to do in terms of how I want to anchor, and that's my different releases. And the reason why I use different releases. So for the 4 finger, I'll start with him first. Because of the way you hold it upside down, right? It's not like this. It's not like you're holding a pistol and you don't hold it out sideways, although some you do. When you come back and anchor, for me anyway, it goes under the lobe of my ear, and that puts the string at a different angle on my face. And so if I'm using a different anchor system, or if I'm shooting at a particular fixed range, like let's say an indoor range like 20 yards, or maybe I'm doing a 3D shoot, I'm only shooting 20, 30 yards, that fixed distance then is a lot more solid with my peep, and I have a lot less motion than with my bow arm, and I end up being a lot more accurate. For the woods, however, there's a lot easier case of dropping it, or losing it, or something like that, because it's not attached to your wrist all the time. I tried this for hunting, and I will say that for hunting it was okay, but I'll tell you, drawing, like if a deer comes out underneath you, drawing like this, holding that release, it just, for me, it was incredibly uncomfortable, and so I don't use this for hunting anymore. even though it is camouflage and people do use it for hunting. And also on a really cold day, if you're wearing big gloves or if your hands are really stiff, you don't want to be trying to grip onto this thing and pull back a 60, 70 pound bow. The chances of this coming out and punching you in the face and shooting off, breaking your other hand. So I always shoot when I'm hunting, regardless of the temperature. I always shoot a caliper release. So like I said, this is a True Fire. I forget the actual name of it. I think I paid like 60, 65 bucks for it. Still a very good release. I like the way it works. I don't mind it being a dual caliper jaw. A lot of people like a single jaw or the hinge style, right? The rocker. So this is a True Ball Stinger. I put this in one of my earlier videos. Buckle release obviously goes around your wrist. And I like a stiff arm. I don't like a lanyard here, because if it's a lanyard, it just sits there and flops around all the time. My thing with using a wrist style release for hunting is that I know a lot of people have done this. They'll go, and I did this myself once, and I'll never do it again. They'll go, they'll set up, they'll climb with the tree, the whole kit and caboodle, and then they go to put the release on, and then they drop it. And then they got to climb back down the tree, the whole shebang. I like to put this on right as I get out of the vehicle. Turn around over the back of my hand, and it can whack me, sure, and it might be a little bit painful, but it's not going to clang off my tree stand, it's not going to clang off my bow, there's no noise, and I get complete range of both hands, and it can't fall out of my pack, it can't fall out of my hands when I'm trying to put it on in cold weather. And then when I'm ready to go, I can just roll it right back around and it's ready to go. And like I said, with that stiff arm, you know, this could be hanging clear down over here to the side, and you have to try to find it and grab it. That stiff arm just swings right down, you can grab it and go. These again also can come in a single jaw, like the True Ball Fang or a chicken wing style thing. I like the dual caliper because it just breaks easily. It breaks in terms of how the shot breaks. It doesn't break in terms of its mechanics. How the shot breaks over works really well for me. This has a nice big trigger on it. I like a big trigger on my releases. So those are the two different styles releases you'll see, and the different reasons why you might want to use them. Can I get a shout out? I already did that. Any turkey hunts coming? I don't hunt turkeys that much. There are a lot of turkeys in Pennsylvania. There's some people that enjoy the fall turkey season. I'm not one of those people. I love the spring turkey season. If you go on my Facebook page, I shot a turkey earlier this spring with my Mossberg. I was very excited. I hadn't shot a turkey in a very long time. And that was because mostly I didn't go out a lot during spring turkey season. So, sorry, no turkey hunts coming, although maybe this spring, if I have the opportunity to get a cameraman, I will have some. Let's see here, what else? Best tree stand for a 305-pound person. Jeff, that is a fantastic question. So I'm nowhere near 305 pounds. I'm a fuzz over 215. I personally use Old Man tree stands. I've loved Old Man tree stands. They fold flat. You're probably going to want to look at the Summit Goliath. I have a couple of buddies of mine who I work with who are ex-offensive linemen in college football. They're not 300 pounds anymore, but they're still in that 240, 250. They like that extra space, that extra welds, if you will, on the stand. Sure, the stand weighs more, but they've had good results with the Summit Goliath. I don't know if Old Man makes a tree stand with that kind of weight rating. Most tree stands only go to about 300, maybe 350 pounds. So I would give those a look. It's definitely Summit for sure, and potentially also Old Man. Michael, what's the best cable slide or guide? They're all a hoax. Every single one is a hoax. I'll prove it to you. This is my Hoyt Carbon Element from 2011. You'll notice it has a roller guard and it has a static roller guard, right? And it is what it is. There's no big deal with it. Then in about, what, 4 years later, Hoyt came out with the roller flex system, where the torqueless flex system, where the thing flexes in, right, and it was supposed to reduce all the torque on the stuff on the bow and on the strings and the cables and on the limbs and the cams. And then all of a sudden, here in 2018, they're back to the static one again. So it's not like they did something that was amazing and then it was going to change the way bows were forever. If you look at Elite Archery, Elite has basically said, forget all the roller guards. This year, they kind of broke down with the Elite Option 6 and 7 and the Tempo. I think the Tempo, they have a roller guard system. Bowtech's always had a roller guard system. Prime's always had a roller guard system. But I know PSE and Elite for the longest time just stuck with a standard cable slide, and people were winning tournaments with them, no problem. So I think it's just an extra thing to add to the price point of a bow. It might make the draw a little bit smoother, but really 90% of the draw comes from the limbs and the cams. How do the cams roll over? What's the let off? What's the valley? That sort of stuff. The cable guard personally really plays a very small part in that. So I think they're all equal. In a sense, I think in terms of how they wear on strings and cables, they're not all equal. I think a roller guard does less damage, but really by the time a standard cable slide does start damaging strings and cables in the serving, it's probably about that time you're going to replace it for other reasons anyway. All right. Mateo, how much draw weight do I need to take down a wild pig? Who cares about the draw weight? You need a sharp broadhead. You need a sturdy, reliable, cut-on contact, sharp broadhead. And I'll guarantee you can take down a pig with a 50-pound bow, no problem. And this is another thing. I used to shoot mechanical broadheads, and I shot fixed blades for the longest time. And then within the past, I'd only say about 2-3 years, I started shooting mechanicals, and pass-throughs became less frequent. Penetration became an issue, even though I was shooting decently good poundage and definitely a heavy enough arrow with plenty of momentum. And I went back to fixed blades, and I haven't had an issue with penetration or pass-through since. So stick with a good cut-on contacts, fixed blade, a good thick head, particularly for those wild boars. Magnus is a great one. G5 makes a great one. Bishop Archery is an up-and-coming, kind of small, behind-the-scenes archery company that's making good broadheads. Of course, Iron Will's making fantastic broadheads. So choose a fixed blade, cut-on contact broadhead, and I think you'll be very happy. And I would probably say for a pig, for a boar, I wouldn't go lower than 45, 50 pounds, just in case you encounter that large, 250, 300 pound plus hog. That's going to have a pretty thick skin, but I think for shots 20 to 30 yards, sticking with a 425 plus grain arrow and a cut-on contact broadhead, I don't think you can go wrong. Thank you, Hunter, for saying I have some of the best vids on bows and stuff. Joey. Oh no, my comments. Joey Gerard, I want the QAD HDX Ultra Rest for Christmas. Is it a good rest? Yes, it is a phenomenal rest. Is it worth $100 and some odd dollars? I don't know. I shoot the QAD HDX on my Hoyt, and the reason why I shoot it as compared to a cheaper one, say like the Hunter model, is because this one, when I bought this bow, because I buy all my bows used, the gentleman sold this with the bow as part of a package. It has not given me a single problem. I really do like the rest. It's been very easy to tune. It's been very quiet for a drop away rest. I know it might sound kind of loud now, but when the shot goes off and the arrow flies past, you never even know it's there. So QAD does make great dropaways, and that one overall is a good one in its class for sure. What is the max distance you would shoot an animal with your bow? My maximum comfortable distance really is 35 yards. And I asked my wife, I practice well out past 35 yards, 40, 50, 60. But that's not because I think I can take an animal at that distance. I would never shoot an animal at that distance. I shoot at that distance because then when I'm shooting at 60, 50 yards, that 35-yard shot looks like a chip shot. And a lot of people say that. A lot of people might, comment. You might see other YouTube videos that say that, but it really is true. If you really practice it and do good practice at that 40, 50, 60, 70-yard mark, you're really going to see your 20 and 30-yard groups just shrink and shrink and shrink just because it looks so easy for you at that distance. And plus, 99% of my hunting happens in the woods, in the thick northern woods of Pennsylvania. You don't get much of a 30-yard plus shot. It just doesn't happen. The shot that I took on my buck, actually, if he had moved another couple of feet, he would have gone from a 5-yard shooting lane to a 25-yard shooting lane before I could have gotten to him again. That's how thick it was in that area, and that was actually a pretty open area for that part of the woods. So, yeah, 35 yards, you're not going to see me take anything farther than that. Oh, YouTube. All right. Regular gold tip hunters and plan on getting 100 grain Magnus Black Hornets, you are going to be in the money, Mateo. Good for you, buddy. Hunting 310, love the videos. Do I have any experience with slick tricks? Yes, I do, and they are absolute behemoths of broadheads. They are fantastic. There's a reason a lot of elk hunters out west use slick tricks, and the grizz tricks, and the viper tricks. I'm not a slick trick person, and that's not because I don't think they don't fly well or not good broadheads. I just don't like replaceable blade broadheads. I'd rather pull something out that I can sharpen a lot easier. I know you can resharpen them, but I prefer something like a Magnus. What do I think about mission bows? I think mission bows are great. I think Matthews did a good job of making that secondary line, just like Bowtech made Diamond. Bear Archery also did a good job making more budget line bows. PSE did as well. Mission does a great job with their hype and their menace and their drive and their, I forget, flair, I think maybe. They did a great job marketing those bows to the more entry-level and intermediate-level market. They did a fantastic job, and I recommend that if you go into a pro shop and you shoot them and you like them, go for it. I think they're a really solid product. Let's see here. What kind of money, good bow can I get for 100? I'm assuming that's 100 pounds, as in the United Kingdom's currency, or less. That's a tricky one. I don't know what bows are available overseas. Unfortunately, I know there's a lot of Chinese stuff out there. I know Martin has a pretty big European and international following. Definitely check them out. If you can get your hands on a PSE, something like the Stinger or the Stinger X, that might be a good thing for you to look at as well. And last, what kind of releases would you recommend? Tell me about. I would shoot a trigger style release like you'd pull a trigger, this guy right here, like you would pull a trigger on a gun. It's going to be so much easier. It's so much more fluid for you to use. Definitely use it whether you're shooting hunting or shooting for hunting and shooting for target. When you start out that way, if you're starting out in archery and you're trying to shoot two different types of releases, it's going to be really complicated for you. You're going to have a hard time with it. So I definitely just try to stick with one. You're welcome, John. So anyhow, it is now 8:30, which is pretty much where I want to end on. So thank you so much. I would actually kind of really like to make this I don't know, a monthly thing or an every other week thing, partially because I'm just bored out of my mind at home raising two small kids under the age of 2 and just kind of sitting around, and particularly when the off season, because in the off season, when hunting season's over and it's just kind of just me sitting around doing nothing, and I'm trying to work on new videos and trying to work on projects, I'd like just to kind of sometimes just have a live thing. So if you have any other thoughts, questions, or comments, please do put them in the comment section below, or do pop over to Facebook. I'll put a link to my Facebook in the description once this video is uploaded. Please do hit me up over on Facebook. That's super quick, super easy. I know the anonymity is not there like there is on YouTube, and a lot of people enjoy that, but either way, you comment here or send me a message, I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I do message everybody back. I like to try to be as helpful as possible. So I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy the sport of archery, and of course, enjoy the sport of archery hunting if you so choose. Enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we will get to see you next time. And I'm going to now walk around the camera and awkwardly turn everybody off.